Hey YouTube, what's going on, and welcome back to Cairo and His Things. Today we're going to be looking at the only 5 flashlights that you need for a complete collection. We'll take a look at 5 different categories, and I'll give you my choice for the best flashlight in each of those categories, and I'll also give you a runner-up just in case you're looking for a second option. Hey y'all, only 3% of my viewers are currently subscribed. As a small channel, if you would consider subscribing, I would really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Alright, so let's get started with the first category. We're going to start off with headlamps. For the runner-up option, I'm going to recommend the Wubin E7. And the reason that I recommend this light is because, for one, it's extremely small and lightweight. You would prefer something to not be too heavy or big when you're carrying it on your head, of course. It's got dual emitters, it's got a strong magnet, a nice clip, a very comfortable button, and an extremely easy user interface. I like this light a lot. It gives good output for coming out of such a small light. And the biggest thing is with it, it's extremely inexpensive for what you get. So I certainly recommend this if you're just looking for one headlamp in your collection. For my number one pick though for a headlamp, I'm going to go with the Workos HD50. The reason I select this is because it's got a 21700 battery. This is a little bit heavier than that Wubin that we just looked at. However, it's got great battery life. It's got a red light, white light combo. It's got tons of modes. It's a really, really strong, powerful, and actually very durable headlamp. I've used this on quite a bit of projects. It's served me well, and personally, I just get great use out of this, so I have to recommend the Workos HD50 if you're looking for one headlamp in your collection. The next category we're going to look at is dedicated throwers. For my runner-up selection, I'm going to go with the Workos TS11. The reason why I choose this is because when I look at a dedicated thrower, that is a light that its specific purpose is just to throw as far and thin of a beam as you can to have fun with. There's a lot of lights that have good throw emitters like an SFT40, something like that, and tactical lights and other things like that. But for this category, we're just looking at things that you get just to be a thrower. So these are going to be more on the fun side of things. And for me, getting a throwy beam out of this, getting it in this size combination, but also with having auxiliary colors in the head, it's just a really fun light to use. And so I certainly recommend this if you're just looking for a fun little thrower that you can show off to your friends, that you can pull out in the middle of the night and easily have in your pocket. Go with the Workos TS11. For my number one choice for a dedicated thrower, I'm going to have to go with my Convoy L21B. I've shown this in a number of my videos. I always go back to it. It's got a great user interface, and biggest thing is that it's relatively inexpensive, yet you're going to get the most performance out of this Convoy than pretty much any other thrower on the market until you go up above the $100 range. So this is the best value that you can get for your money. You have a number of different emitter options you can choose, a super deep basic reflector in there, and just an overall great experience. Check out some of my other videos on this if you want to see beam shots, but I'm yet to have another light that outperforms this in throwing. The next category we're going to look at is the EDC category. And for my runner-up choice, it's going to be the Wubin X3. Again, I've got a video review on this. Feel free to go back and check it out for all the reasons why I love this. But to make it quick and simple, we have a screen here that tells us our lumen output, levels, and battery life. We have a backup light, a glow-in-the-dark that turns on, and you can leave this on or off. We have wireless charging. We have a rotating head, so you can have standard out the front, or you can have a 90-degree light. We have a magnet, a super discreet clip, and a red and white emitter light in here. I've recommended this to friends in real life. I have friends that have purchased this and use this on the daily. A lot of people get a lot of use out of one of these little guys right here, and I highly have to recommend the Wubin X3. I do have one choice, though, that goes above the Wubin X3 for me, and that's going to be this Trustfire Mini X3. I just love the way that this feels in hand. The quality of this light is like pretty much unmatched for me. It really does feel of not only great quality, but I love the user interface of being able to switch between laser output, ultraviolet and white light, and my back CRI light between this meter here. The button feels great to use, and most of all, it's extremely comfortable in pocket. It's packed with features, and it feels of just good quality. Highly recommend this, and this is my number one pick for an EDC light. The next category we have is the tactical light. This is going to be your self-defense style lights. These are going to be the lights that you recommend for someone that is in law enforcement, military, first responder, whatever it is. This is my recommendations for you. For a runner-up, we're going to go with the Workos TS23. This is a relatively new light for me, but it has performed great. I'm very, very happy with it. You've got USB-C on the bottom here. You've got a great tail switch, super comfortable and easy to use. Very good grip here, feels good in hand. You've got a bezel with little tiny glass breakers on it. Here we've got an orange peel reflector because you're going to get a good high candela throwy beam out of this, but with the orange peel it gives good spill, so you get a pretty neutral beam, I should say, where you're getting a lot of throw, but you're also getting a decent spread on it, so you're lighting up a wide area as well. I really appreciate this light. I use it a lot. I've really grown fond of it, but it still is not quite my number one, and I'll show you why. For my number one tactical light, I've got to go with this Brynite PT16A. Please feel free to go back and watch my video on it. It never hit the algorithm for whatever reason. It got very low views, but I really think that I broke down why this light is so great on it. I would love for you guys to go back and see it. I love this light more than just about any other light in my collection. It's very close. You can get it with this thumb ring, or it also comes with a standard ring that just goes around here that locks your hand in. Either way, whatever's more comfortable for you. It's got direct to turbo, direct to strobe. It's got a secondary button switch if you want to use it like that to go into low mode. It's got a great bezel with higher glass breakers here. An SFT70 emitter. Super good USB-C flap right there that's never going to just accidentally come up. This light is great to use, and when I'm going into a bad neighborhood, I keep this with me. We've got one category left, and that's going to be our flutters. These are going to be your flashlights that light up a really wide area and have high lumens. So for my runner-up choice, we're going to go with the Wubin X1 Falcon. Check that out. Boxy design, fits in your pocket, takes two 21700 batteries, tons of battery life. You have a USB-C flap right there, heatsink, cooling fan, triple emitter setup with orange peel on the glass there. You've got 10 to 12,000 lumens turbo. Super fun flashlight to use. Really great battery life on this. If you put this in the 20 lumen mode, it'll run for days for you. This thing is awesome. It feels cool. It looks cool. I love showing this thing off, and I really appreciate this flashlight. My number one flutter flashlight, I've got to go though with the Sofern SP36 BLF Andrel. Now this thing puts out 6,000 lumens, not quite as much as that Wubin, and it doesn't have that boxy design to fit in your pocket nicely. But what this does have is a triple 18650 battery setup in it. It's got a great beam profile. It's got a nice 4000 Kelvin tint there. But most of all, it's got, with 4 heads in it, it's got one of the best beam profiles out of any flashlight I own. I've got a pretty long backyard. This lights up the length of the backyard easily, but also by far the width. This thing is not only just tremendous as far as your beam profile you're going to get, but most of all with this flashlight, for me personally, this got me into the hobby of flashlights. I got this flashlight because I needed something to light up a really wide area. I ended up choosing this one, and I fell so in love with it, it got me into the hobby of getting more flashlights. The user interface uses Andrel. It's extremely customizable. It's a lot of fun to get to know, to use, and if there's any light that you're going to get Andrel on, I think it should be this one. And if there's any flashlight that I'm going to recommend that you, if you're looking to purchase a flashlight for Christmas or something like that, for somebody that you know that you just want them to be wowed by the flashlight, to get into the hobby, get this. Sofern SP36 BLF Andrel. I highly recommend it. This is the light that got me to love flashlights. It's got USB-C on the back. Great light, and this is my choice for the best flutter on the market.